Welcome back to the Spend 10K Day podcast. I'm Stuart Anderson. With me, as always, my good buddy, Steve Weiss. Today, we are talking to you about marketing a mobile app with Facebook ads.
Specifically, mobile app install campaigns.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the best times a year to run app install campaigns are actually December, January, and February because of all the gifting going on with new iPhones and new Android phones. So this, we're going to be producing a lot of content and a lot of learnings around mobile app install campaigns, and also Facebook is making it a lot easier by building an amazing ad tech tools to help mobile app install advertisers really leverage Facebook and Instagram as a platform.
Yeah, I think for me, the technology already is extremely impressive. Obviously, there's a ton of mobile ad networks out there that can do attribution for installs if you're running ads. But, Facebook's got some really, really cool tools, and combined with all their targeting abilities, it's really impressive.
So to market a mobile app install on Facebook and actually measure, number one, very important, measure the success of your campaigns by how many app installs at what price, aka CPI, cost per install, you need to install Facebook's SDK.
Yeah. And you can either install the SDK directly, or you can use, one of the Facebook marketing partners. There's a lot of vendors on the mobile side that actually bake that SDK in. Things like was it Kochava, AppsFlyer,
AppsSolar. There's tons. If you guys need any advice in picking an attribution partner, feel free to read me directly. I have both me and Stu have a lot of experience in attribution. But, in case, if you're using like a HasOffers is one of the only ones that got kicked out of Facebook, you'll have to install the mobile SDK directly. Or if Facebook's the first channel, then you want to install the SDK directly. But when you install the SDK, what's cool is you get to actually see all the data and the attribution coming into your app. Attribution, when we use that buzzword again, aka buzzword, what we mean is we want to attribute a person installing an app back to a specific Facebook ad campaign. An app install is just like a conversion, same attribution window, same everything, just like a conversion on Shopify. Facebook will say you could set the conversion window, 1-day view, 28-day click, et cetera, then Facebook will track when that user installs that campaign.
Yeah, it's and beyond that too, Facebook has a lot of tools. They have their free mobile analytics tool as well. When you install their SDK, there's a lot of valuable insights, and being able to see what happens after somebody installs your app. It's extremely important. It shows you kind of like the ROI on a lot of your campaigns.
Yeah.
If hey, not only did I get an install, but this person, let's say, spent, if you're a game, they made 4 in-app purchases for $5 a piece. They have an LTV of just around like $20.
Yep, and you can take
really valuable data.
You can take that cohort data and then apply it to like what you can pay for an install. So if you're making $20, and you could pay as much, as $10 for that install. So another cool thing about Facebook is you could do a thing called on Facebook Mobile, should I say, is you could do deep linking.
Yeah.
Deep linking is another buzzword that I'm sure you've heard a lot in the space. And what deep linking really means, it's that advertisers want to link to specific areas in their app post install.
Yeah.
On specific campaigns. So once you have the SDK installed inside of your app, now you can tell Facebook that I want to drop everyone on this registration part, or I'm giving away a free coupon or for some free virtual currency, and I want to drop everyone onto this place in the mobile app.
It's I think really important tool for e-commerce company especially. There is DPA in mobile apps, but regardless, you need to be doing some sort of deep linking, because if you advertise, let's say, in your ad on Facebook and you feature a certain product in it, why not take them to the screen within the app that has that product? Take them right there. It's very likely to increase the conversion rate, getting somebody to buy. And it's, the technology out there is getting easier and easier to work with. It's easier to make these, deep links, because when you first think about like, hey, I got to figure out the screen and configure all this stuff, the setup, especially, when you have to go to your developer, it can seem a little bit cumbersome, but it's getting easier and easier to do too. So these campaigns are get an easy to make.
Three high level. One, mobile SDK for Facebook. Number two, deep linking. Number three, we're going to talk a little bit about some type of audience selection. Just like with when you sell a product online, all the people who bought that product are now being moved into a specific audience segment on your website custom audiences. One of the tactics that we use when we do mobile app install campaigns is we like to target people who've already downloaded the app with specific ads versus people who haven't downloaded the app. It's very important that you don't keep running a mobile app install ad to someone who's already installed the app. So really making sure you exclude all the people who've downloaded your app. You could use. I'm pretty sure you could use their app ID, right, Stu? You could exclude people based on app ID.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
So you can exclude people based on app ID, based on email address, based on phone number. But it's just really important to really not run the same redundant campaign to someone who's already installed your app. We've seen that happen a multitude of times. So highly recommend building new ads based on where a user is in your funnel.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what can somebody be doing in this time period? What can somebody be doing during this time of year to separate themselves, to really, put themselves, just separate themselves from everybody else that's advertising, especially on mobile. Let's talk a little bit about, what a mobile app or a mobile app company can do to make sure that they're getting the install.
So just some high level strategy that we've tested out that we're kind of perfecting. This is not, by no means is this best practice. This is just a growth hacking tactic that we're testing out in house. We found out that you could connect a Facebook lead ad to what you call an IVR system or a response system. Which is really cool because you could, if someone puts in their phone number or their email, they can get an autoresponder both on text or on email to do a specific action. We've seen over the last, year or 2 years that app install conversion rates from driving a person directly from the ad to the app have been decreasing month over month over month. So we actually built out a new funnel, which is kind of unique, where we'll actually do a lead ad to a text message to an app install. And we don't have enough data on that right now, but we're getting leads really cheap for a number of our app install partners. Yeah. And that just being innovative, leveraging the platform to really try and generate app installs in a very creative way instead of just pushing people to an app store, I think is the evolution of mobile advertising on Facebook, because now everyone's site is mobile optimized, and people just don't like being pushed to download an app.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to sell the value prop. It's an action that requires a lot of intent. You're not going to get everyone to download. And it goes back to the point we were making before about deep linking too. You want to make sure that if somebody does take the time to download, that you take them to the right screen. If you have somebody who's basically the battle isn't over once you get somebody to install. You need to make sure they stay around.
Stu brings up a great point. I think a lot of companies, they think that the goal is to generate installs to show growth. That's the wrong way to look at growth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Generating app installs to show growth, maybe initially, maybe your first couple months in business, but after that, it's a retention game. Like once you're generating installs and you have an organic footing, now the question is, whether you're, now we're going to get into automation, whether you're sending, some type of push notifications to keep people in the app. There's a plethora of different areas. That's a whole other conversation, but
I think exactly right. When I was head of growth at a startup that had a mobile app, we saw cost per install as like a secondary metric. It was something that was kind of like nice to know, but what we were really measuring was cost per retained user
and cost per purchase, actual ROAS after someone downloads the app.
So we didn't have purchases, but we were measuring off of like active users or retained users, and we had a specific criteria for what that constituted. And so we were taking the CPI of acquiring them and then multiplying that, calculating it based on what percentage of that campaign's users actually were active or retained. That was the metric that we really measured. So you really want to evaluate your install campaigns based on what is the quality of the user you're bringing in. And so you're exactly right, Steve.
So just a quick recap. getting into mobile, this is something new to you. Make sure you have the mobile SDK installed. Make sure you have deep linking installed. Number 3, make sure you're excluding your mobile app install people from your current campaigns. And then number 4, make sure that your metrics are adding up. Make sure that you're not just driving people into an app install campaign. Make sure you're tracking and understanding, what people are doing and how to keep them engaged, how to retain them without having to keep spending money on Facebook.
Yeah. That's a whole other, probably a series of podcasts talking about, mobile retention, building viral loops and all that stuff. I mean, you could talk about that for days. But I mean, I think ultimately, right here, right now, focusing on just the acquisition and the install. There's a lot of stuff you can do to get people into your app.
Yep. And then lastly, number 5, just some tactics we've been using to get people to download apps. Facebook lead ads to an IVR system to an install. There's a whole lot of creativity you could have. You could build a funnel where someone could send them directly to a website. They put in their email and their phone number, then they get a text message to download the app. I just want to really talk, put out to the universe that it's very important for you to think outside the App Store. Just think outside of, we call it direct linking, because you might not get a great CPI direct linking to your app right away because the app is a barrier to entry. So, number 5, get away from the deep links. Start thinking of other ways to generate app installs without having to push people into one specific area.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's go make some money.
Sounds good. We'll see you next time, everyone.
All right. Take care.